Now, I have to ask you about New York.
No, stuff New York.
I'm sure you've been keeping some late nights the past few days.
Yeah.
Look, it's gotten a little messy, huh?
It's gotten a little bit messy, but Governor Paterson, he walked into a very, very difficult situation. It's like so many other governors, New York was facing a really difficult budget situation. So somebody's got to come in and make the hard decisions, and when you do that, you expend political capital because you got to say no a whole lot more often than you get to say yes. Mm-hmm. And he did that without having been elected to the office in the first place, so he didn't get that political capital that you get from running for office. So it's a really, really difficult situation that he was put in. He's done an incredible job, and we'll see what happens. I hope he does run for re-election because I think New York could be better off. But
really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You think he should?
Well, I think he's done an incredible job as governor. But
let me ask you this, though, Nathan, just to handicap this a little bit. The only other option right now that we really have is Andrew Cuomo, correct?
That's right.
Are we even clear or certain that that's what he wants to do? I haven't gotten a clear indication that he's really made up his mind that he wants to run for governor.
I don't think he has. In fact, he said publicly that he doesn't want to challenge Governor Paterson in the primary. Mm-hmm. If he ends up being the candidate, there's no doubt in my mind he would also do a terrific job. But there's one thing that I know about Governor Paterson, which is that he will always put the state of New York first. And I think even the White House would agree with this. Whether or not he runs for election will be his decision, and he'll do it based on what he thinks is best for the state. And I think that he'll take a close look at all this and figure out how New York can be best served by, what develops over the next 14 months.
But you're saying, effectively, that you would like to see him run again, that he could do a good job.
I absolutely think that if he were elected to another term, he would do an incredible job. And I think the question you're also asking me is, would he win re-election?
Right.
And I think he would.
Really?
I absolutely think he would. I mean, there's a lot of time between now and next November. Mm-hmm. And there are candidates who have been in worse positions than he's been in. And, I absolutely think that he would win re-election. And I don't care if it's Rudy Giuliani or Rick Lazio, whoever the Republicans put up, I think that'll beat them.
Now, to hear you say that is significant because you would play a role in that. I mean, as the Democratic Governors Association is going to be assisting these candidates.
Right.
See, that was my question. In a situation like that, we know what the numbers look like now. And you're absolutely right. You put it very well, by the way. Nathan Daschle, folks, again, the executive director of the Democratic Governors Association. You put it very well about, how he expended political capital without having the benefit of having, run and won the seat outright. It's that's what happens. But you have to make a decision about, whether or not you say to somebody like him, it has been alleged the White House has said, look, we need you to drop out because you don't have a shot, or whether your organization says, okay, we know this is tough, let's double down and get this done.
That's right. I think you're right. I mean, everyone's going to have to come together and talk about this and make a decision. Whatever he decides to do, we'll support him.
Okay.
And like I said, I think that I don't think he's made up his mind yet, and I think he's trying to figure out how the state is best served. And he obviously, as you also know, he's got a fiscal situation on his hands, so the amount of time he can devote to thinking about politics is probably not as much as he'd like, because he's got to spend a lot of time thinking about how he gets New York out of this budget mess.
Yeah.
But he'll do the right thing, and whatever he does, we'll support.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Have you been? You sound like everybody has. You said everybody has to come together, which suggests to me you've not been privy to any of the alleged conversations between Governor Paterson and the White House, and some people in the White House on behalf of the president suggesting he should not run. You've not. Have you been involved in any of those conversations?
I've had some conversations. I wasn't in the room when they met last week, so I can't talk about what was discussed. And probably can't divulge the content of my conversations with other people. But I think everyone, believe it or not, is on the same page here, which is that we want to see strong leadership for New York. Everybody acknowledges Governor Paterson was in a tough place. And everybody knows that there's a long time between now and the election. But at the same time, everyone also wants to win this race. So there are a lot of factors that we have to consider.
Yeah. But just one more on New York. Suppose it is Cuomo. do you think he could also win, presumably standing up against Rudolph Giuliani?
I think absolutely. I think Andrew Cuomo would win hands down.
Okay, but you also feel Governor Paterson could beat Rudolph Giuliani?
Yeah, it's a tougher case to make for Governor Paterson right now because he's not doing as well in the polls as Cuomo is.
Right.
And I won't lie. I mean, nobody wants to see an incumbent governor struggling like Governor Paterson is. But we also we just know how far away we are from Election Day and how much can change.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear, Nathan. Those of us Democrats talking, sounding optimistic, ready to fight. We need those kind of morale kind of things. You're a good man. I appreciate you. I like your perspective. Folks, democraticgovernors.org. Go there, check out Dancing with Delay.